guys, welcome back. It's Natasha Tracy Taylor, and guys, this is the first video to Lunch with Mama Tash. So welcome back. I'm going to be giving you guys a nice little rundown of the do's and don'ts in terms of what kids like, what they don't like, what you should do, what's recommended, and what you absolutely do not want to do because you will find the lunches coming back home or at the bottom of the bags. So let's get started. In terms of supplies, I recommend to keep the lunches fun. So whether you're on a high budget or a low budget, it's good to have containers for your kids for lunches. Why? Because you want to be able to, A, make it nice and easy. These are the ones that I got for my kids, so they come in different colors. You can get one at the closest dollar store near you, whether you have a Walmart, whatever. If you are on a higher budget and your kids are responsible, because you don't want to be spending an arm and a leg on supplies and they don't bring it home, or they destroy it, they lose it, whatever. So depending on the child, every child is different, every household is different. I get these for my kids. It's quick, it's fun. You can be able to put anything in it, like grapes, cut up apples. I usually don't like to cut the apples because when they turn brown, kids for some reason, they think because it's brown it's no good. Same thing with bananas. So stuff like crackers, grapes, celery or carrots, and you can put the sauces on the side, so that'll be good for these types of containers. They snap it closed, and even if there's a little bit of residue from the sauces or whatever, you can be able to wash it out when they come home. In terms of juice boxes, any types of drinks, a nice little container so that they can be able to quickly sip. This is inexpensive. I used to buy the expensive containers, the water bottles that are nice and fancy and that dangle, have the keychain attached to it, the whole nine. What I found with that is when the kids are in a rush, especially when my kids were much younger, they would always lose it, forget it on the field, forget it in the lunch bin. Their names would get rubbed off of it, so the teachers couldn't really make it out. And then it gets frustrating because you're spending anywhere from $7 to $10 per water bottle, and I have 4 children. So when you're multiplying that, it gets expensive when you're constantly replacing. So I learned to stay nice and inexpensive. It's durable. When it falls, it's not going to break. It's not going to get a crack. There's also a little straw so they can still get the stuff at the bottom of the bottle. It's fine. If not, they can just put it to their head, drink out whatever's in there. They can use it for water. A lot of times teachers don't like when you're interrupting your classes. Can I go get a drink? Can I go get a drink? So it's easier if you just send your kids with a nice little water bottle in their bag. They have the opportunity to fill it up at the fountain, or you fill it up from home, freeze it the night before, whatever your preference is, but giving them a water bottle, whether it's an expensive water bottle, whatever. If you have to use, do you know the water bottles that you buy the juice from the convenience store or whatever? If you use those, no problem. You can always fill it up, like not quite to the top, but I'd say like 3/4. Freeze it from the night before, so that way when you're packing it in their bags in the morning, by the time they're ready to drink it, it's melted a little bit. They can keep putting water on top of it and be hydrated throughout the day. In terms of sandwiches, some people like to use sandwich bags, paper bags. Maybe you use the wax paper. If that's your preference, that's totally okay. Myself, I like to use containers. Again, it's nice and quick, it's easy. I can be able to wash it when they come home, no matter what condition it's in. If it has all kinds of different sauces, I can be able to just rinse it out, reuse it the next time. It's nice and quick. I'm not replacing sandwich bags on a regular basis. I'm keeping the budget nice and tight, whatever. So parents, grandparents, guys, invest in a thermos. This will be your best friend throughout the school year. You don't have a thermos, your life is going to be miserable. It's going to be hair pulling. You're going to feel stressed when you're trying to prepare lunch. Thermoses, you don't have to go big and expensive for thermoses, especially if they're younger. You're going to find that you're going to be replacing it all the time. So at the bottom of a thermos, there is a lining. With the higher end thermoses, they're called thermo. It's thermo or thermos, I forgot what the name is, but that's the higher end brand of the thermoses. Tell me what you guys call it. Do you call it thermo or thermos? I always say thermo, but I'm not too sure if it's thermos. But anyways, thermo, the higher end brand, we'll call it that for video's sake. Guys, that one has usually a lining at the bottom. There's some that do have a double plastic, but the higher end brands have a lining, and if you're not careful, when it drops or your kids throw their bags on the floor, it will shatter and break. So I try not to spend too much money on thermoses because I've invested hundreds of dollars in them, and the kids break them, they lose them. So last year I tried to teach them a lesson, but I ended up teaching myself a lesson because the school year was rough, to be honest with you. So guys, this helps you to give you more of a selection in terms of menus, in terms of your menu selection for the kids of what you want to give them. You can be able to give them hot stuff, soup, mackerel, rice, anything that you cooked from Sunday night's dinner or the previous night. You can warm it up, put it in here, and it stays warm. So there's different types of thermoses. There's some that stay warm anywhere from 6 hours, there's 7 hours, 10 hours, and 12 hours. So it depends on the size, what you're using it for, whether it's liquid or foods. This is the one that I usually get for my children. It doesn't have the lining, so I don't have to worry about them breaking it. It has a thick inside lining, so it'll keep it warm up to 6 hours, which is perfect because I prepare their lunches usually around 7:30, so it will still be good by the time they're ready to have their lunch. So again, invest into thermoses. Don't be cheap. It will help you. It's going to make your life a lot more easier, stress-free, give you more of a quick morning, a nice smooth day, so don't cheap out. So guys, now we're going to do a walkthrough of the do's and don'ts. So there's things throughout the school year with kids. Sometimes they communicate it, sometimes they don't. So I'm going to give you guys the feedbacks based on what my kids have told me. And we'll start with number 1. Do not pack your kids any sandwiches that have mayonnaise or ketchup or any type of water base. Don't pack your kids anything that has mayonnaise or ketchup on bread items. It gets soggy. You're going to find it at the bottom of the lunch bags. They're not going to bring it home. You're going to be frustrated, etc. So my kids have given me feedback. If you're going to do that, put the mayonnaise and the ketchups at the side. I've also noticed that there's, other parents, when you're talking to them on the playground, the field, when you're dropping off your kids, whenever there's any kind of assemblies or concerts, whatever, that usually is the thing that parents have in common is, why do the sandwiches always come back home? It's because it's soggy. Kids don't like to eat soggy sandwiches. It's just like, you ever have a new child and they're eating something of yours, and then the minute you're going to put your mouth on it, it's all soggy and you're like, ah! But because they're your kids, you eat it anyways. That's the same way that kids feel. But they're even more grossed out. Their minds look at it like, ew, it's wet. It already has like saliva on it. It's nasty. And then the consistency in their mouth is not good. So it'll literally make them feel like they're puking in their mouth. So I'm talking to you guys from a kid's perspective, giving it to you in the raw adult version. They don't like it. It's gross. It feels soggy. They want to puke in their mouth. And then it's all mushed together. They're not getting the beautiful, nice taste as if it was fresh. So if you are going to pack any kind of sandwiches and it has mayonnaise or ketchup, it's recommended that you put the ketchup packets on the side. And I'll also show you guys when I'm doing the videos how I make my own homemade packets of ketchup if you don't have ketchup packets, okay? Number 2, do not pack your kids yogurt without putting it inside of something. Some sort of like a Ziploc bag or another container. Why? There is some yogurts that have a very soft top, like, the top that you peel off, the silver part. It's soft. When that gets mushed together with their lunches, especially with all kinds of stuff that's in their school bag, with the pencil cases and their books and whatever, it tends to puncture a hole. Or if there's a lot of stuff going on within their lunch bag, it punctures a hole and it ends up spilling. The yogurt sometimes will get soft and it'll decay the material of the bottom depending on what yogurt you're giving them. So the different brands have the different materials. I noticed that yogurt can be very, very messy in the bags. You'll find yourself scrubbing out the lunch bags. If it's not scrubbed out properly, it ends up smelling and it stinks. So you'll have to replace it. So I want to tell you guys, anything with yogurts or anything like that, try to see if you can put it in something else in their lunch bag so that you can avoid spillage, avoid it smelling stink, the extra cleaning, and so on. Number 3, make sure that you're feeding your kids the 4 food groups. It's so important. You don't want the teachers calling you saying that you're not packing healthy snacks. You don't want to get into your kids being overly hyper after lunch, that they're constantly getting into trouble, and it's because of the food that they eat. So sugars contribute big time to kids being active in school, not focusing. So kids respond to sugars, guys. They get overly active. Sometimes they get themselves in trouble. So avoid packing too much sugary stuff. So you want to kind of stick to the 4 food groups. If your kids haven't grown up in the house where they're used to having fruits and vegetables with their meals, you guys want to incorporate that in the lunches. So I'll show you guys how to be able to do that, where you can be able to give them the healthy snacks, again, keeping it fun, restaurant style, where they can have the carrots, they can dip it inside of the salad dressing. You can put the salad dressing in a different container. Find out what salad dressing that they like. Find out what kind of snacks that they like that's healthy. So have this discussion with your kids. Don't just put any and anything in their bags, because you're going to be the ones being frustrated, wondering why it's coming back home. Sometimes they don't like it. Sometimes it's better that you feed it to them at dinner time as opposed to giving it to them in their school bags and experimenting. No, experiment at dinner time. Parents, you can try letting your kids know treating them on a Friday is a privilege. It's not a right. So if you want to give them little chips or, you know, additional snacks that they don't normally get on a regular basis, you can leave that for Fridays. But make sure you're letting them know, if you guys are not eating out your snacks during the week, or I find out that you're throwing it in the garbage, I can't treat you on a Friday to things that are great and whatever. You're going to have to stick to the menu with the rest of your siblings. Or if you just have one child, they're really a lot more willing to listen when you have one child, because it's only them. So, you know, they're used to having lunches being fun, whatever. They don't want to miss out on the little snacks that mom wants or dad wants to throw in there, grandpa, grandma, whoever you are that you're taking care of kids. You know what I'm trying to say. Please don't feel bad if I just keep saying moms and dads. You are considered to be a mom and dad, according to me. In my eyes, you're a mom and dad once you're taking care of kids. It doesn't matter what your title is. So please forgive me if I say mom and dad. You guys know what I mean. Ideas for healthy snacks would be carrots. They can have salad dressing with it on the side. They can dip it inside. A celery, same thing. They can do the same thing, dip it inside. If you're going to pack cookies, make it healthy. Make it something like oatmeal cookies or Ovaltine cookies. Those are also really good. So if you're going to pack cookies, make it nice and healthy. Make sure that it's not overly sweet. It's not too full of sugar, so that the kids can still function throughout the day. Try to avoid things like fruit snacks and so on. So leave it for things like field trips or for Fridays, so that you can be able to treat them. Anything like fruit snacks or the fruit roll-ups or chocolate chip cookies, the little ones that come in the little blue packs. All of those things, you can treat them once in a while. It's good to have them, but save it for things like field trips, guys, so that their field trip day can be fun. You want to keep during the week very healthy, especially if you're a parent that is very adamant on your kids doing well in school. Sugar contributes to them getting distracted. It contributes to them misbehaving, etc. So you really want to be very, very careful with your snack selection, okay? Number 5. So guys, be engaged with your kids. Find out what they like, what they don't like. You'd be surprised. Your kids will tell you what you messed up on, eh? They will tell you that they didn't like the crackers. It was all mushed together because you didn't butter them properly. Or maybe they wanted the crackers with cheese. Sometimes you can buy the square cheese and cut them into small little boxes, like the small little square cheese. Put them in the Ziploc bags or the containers and allow the kids to have that with the crackers, so that it's not plain, it's not drying out the back of their throat. Or if, you know, maybe they like the bread toasted and you made it not toasted, and that could be why they didn't eat the sandwich. Or maybe you didn't warm up the soup hot enough so the soup came back home. So having these little discussions with the kids will save you a lot of stress. It will also let you know, make lunches easier on you at the end of the day. So to have these discussions, they'll give you their feedback. Kids are so honest. They will not hide the truth from you. Trust me. When it comes to their food, especially if your kids love their belly, they'll give you the feedback. Find out from them what kind of lunches they like, what they didn't like, what made it fun, what they didn't like about it, if you should toast the bread or not toast the bread, if they liked it cold, if they liked it hot, what kind of selections that they would enjoy. So have these discussions with your kids. It's going to save you a lot of stress. Number 6, do have an ice pack. Having an ice pack allows you to have things like box juice or any types of fruits or vegetables that you're incorporating in their snacks to stay nice and cold. It stays fresh longer and it can be able to take them up into their lunch hour. If you don't have an ice pack, that's fine. For the juice boxes or the water or juice, that liquids that you're going to pack for your child, you can freeze it from the night before and they can be able to have it still cold, a little bit of ice added to it that can be able to quench their thirst for their rest of their school day. Number 7, don't try to prep all of the lunch in the morning if you know that there was prep work to be done the night before or morning before. Try to get up a little bit earlier. If there's something that you can do the night before that will help with your prep work in terms of what the menu item is going to be, try to do that ahead of time. You don't want to be running into a situation where you're slabby-dashing their lunch. And what I mean by that is packing it so quickly that you're not doing it properly, the kids won't enjoy it, and then at the end of the day, you're packing a lunch that they won't eat. So don't do that to yourselves. Make sure that you're giving yourself enough time, whether that be getting up a little bit earlier than usual, or if that means doing some prep work from the night before to what you can prepare. I know, guys, sometimes it's hard that you can't prepare everything from the night before because you don't want it to get soggy or you don't want it to become stale or too hard, etc. I totally understand that. I go through that too. You guys will see in the mornings that it's very quick. Number 8, do not bring any food items to school in which the school board or the school prohibits. Things like nut products, or if they have a sign, please do not bring bananas into the school, or please do not bring fish products into the school. Please respect that, guys. Nothing sucks more than if you have to get that phone call and you're at work, you know, you're in the middle of a meeting, you're on the job, you're doing something dangerous, and all of a sudden you hear that your child has an allergic reaction. So please be mindful of that. Do not bring any nut products to schools. This is pretty generic across the board. No matter what country that you live in, state, province, the district school boards usually don't allow nut products to be on school property. That's one of the biggest allergies that kids have, is the nut allergic reaction. So the nut allergies. So please, guys, be very mindful of that. Respect any signs, any things that come home in with your children's newsletters, which you're going to get tons of them on the first day. Please remember to check that properly to see what kind of things are permitted and prohibited from the children's bags, okay? Number 9, napkins. Don't forget napkins. If you're not going to pack a napkin, at least put a rag. But napkins is a big thing. It may seem so small and so simple, but when they have spillage or they're somewhere they can't get to wipe their hands or mouth, you end up finding the lunch bags and their backpacks and binders and everything else full of stuff. And you're like, wait a second, how the binders and your knapsacks and pencils and everything's eating the lunch? It's because you didn't pack napkins. So as much as it may seem so small, it's something that the kids often ask for. They usually hope that there's something in their bag, but usually there isn't, because we don't usually take the time to think that kids would need napkins. Sometimes we're just like, okay, yeah, they can just run and get it from the bathroom, or they must have that inside of the lunchroom, so it's okay. No, guys, pack the napkins. So number 9, do pack napkins inside of the lunch bags. Number 10, have fun with the lunches. Have a system going. Have some sort of a menu that you can be able to follow, where you know it's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. I know as I'm saying that, there's probably some parents that are like, yeah, who has time for all of that? When you put proper planning into the lunches, you will see in the morning time how smooth it is. If you just have a regular set lunches of usually what kind of things that you can pack that's quick, that's on the go, again, guys, as I mentioned before, having a thermos will increase your selection, your options. It will make your life easy. So invest in a thermos so you have a broader selection. You can pack soups, beefaroni, anything from stuff that you cooked on the Sunday the night before, or maybe the previous dinner that you had, whatever that was, lasagna, a rice dish, whatever you made. I even pack the kids mackerel when I have the thermoses. I warm up the mackerel. They have it with hardo bread. I put the hardo bread in this type of container. So put the bread in here. If they need additional bread, then I'll pack it in foil paper, and I'll put it, nice, or put it in another container. So it depends. So I keep it fun. I keep it clean. I keep it quick. And when they have fun with the lunches, I have fun. Well, you guys will see how I do lunches in the morning. It's nice and quick. I have a little system that I do. After a while, you'll be able to pick up. You'll keep up with it. You'll see I'll keep you in the swing of things. It's all good. So guys, that's it for our top 10 do's and don'ts in terms of the kids' lunches, what they like, what they don't like, what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to get, and little tips. So if I have not touched on something, maybe you were curious about something, your kids brought something to your attention, please feel free to put it in the comments below. I'll make sure that I tackle that on the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, make sure that, you let anybody know, friend, neighbor, cousin, relative, whoever you speak to on a regular basis that needs help. They need help in the morning with their lunches with their kids. It's driving them crazy. They've asked you a thing or two. Please feel free to let them know to stay connected to Lunch with Mama Tash so that we can all make the school year with lunches fun, easy, and stress-free. So I love you guys. Stay tuned. I'll continue to keep posting more videos. Our next video will be getting right down to the nitty-gritty and granny up things with making lunch with Mama Tash. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye. Mwah!